Hi, my name is Gemma and I'm a camera trainee in the film and TV industry. Initially for me, my interest in the camera department stemmed from when I was in senior school. I was very interested in photography. I got a little camera phone and I really wanted to go out and take photography, and then I didn't get on to GCSE photography. And I was so interested, I spent pretty much every night going to the photography teacher and asking for help, and he said, I can't help you, you can use the computers and stuff like that, but I've got to mark work and things, so I'm not able to spend time teaching you. And I was like, okay. And then I said to my dad, like, I can't use my phone to take pictures, so what do I do? And then him and the photography teacher basically said, if you're interested in photography, take pictures. It doesn't matter what it's on. If you're creative enough, it will shine through. And eventually I saved up to buy my own camera. I was out washing the neighbours' cars and stuff, trying to get money to buy it. And my dad insisted that I had to learn how a camera worked in order to ensure that I was going to spend this money and it was going to be worth it. My dad decided it was probably not worthwhile spending such a large amount of money if I wasn't going to be interested in it. And then bought my own camera and kind of started taking pictures, developed it from there. And then I went to Birmingham Ulverston Academy to wind my sibling's friend up. And I went and knocked on the door while they were in class, and I was looking around and I was like, actually this place is pretty cool. I think I'm quite interested in this. So I applied and did a broadcasting media qualification, and then while we were there, we went for a trip to Warner Brothers studio tour, and the coach went past the studio lot, and it's a working studio. So I looked across and I saw them filming Tarzan, and after going around the studio, I was just like, this is it, this is where I want to be. I just love being creative, I want to tell stories, and this is kind of where it developed. After the initial interest in photography and wanting to make stories and going to Warner Brothers and seeing the studio tour, was actually another student basically turned around to me and said, you're never going to make it in the camera department because you're a woman. And I thought, what a thing to say. I can. There's no reason why I can't, so I'm going to now that you've said that. That really spurred me on. And I struggled a lot with my depression and anxiety when I left college. Unfortunately, I broke my back, which became a big problem because I couldn't really work. So I set up my own business doing photography and video so I could recover while I was working. And then I realised over time that I needed to work more towards getting into the camera department, and that's when I met a really lovely clapper loader called Josie, who's now a focus puller, and she really helped me get into the industry. But the only reason that I managed to get in touch with her was through Instagram. So this industry is a lot about who you know, and unfortunately, because I wasn't able to talk to people, I wasn't really able to go to networking events because my anxiety was too high, and I didn't know anybody in the industry in the Midlands, and I needed to be working on bigger budget stuff as a camera trainee. So I had to get in touch with people from London, and I did that through Instagram. I watched Netflix credits and I got in touch with people, and some people get very weirded out by it because I don't know them, and they're like, how do you know me? But other people are really friendly, and I think for me it was so much easier to message people on Instagram than it was to try and have a conversation with them, and it really worked for me. I've got a big network now. I think I have something like 1,800 followers who are mostly from the film and TV industry within the camera department, but I myself follow over 4,000 people, and I wouldn't say I stay in touch with all of them all the time, but I spend a lot of my spare time just dropping people messages and seeing what they're doing and getting inspiration from them. And when I initially met Josie, it was through a kind of organisation called Women in the Camera Department, and she'd done a bit of a takeover, and we shared a lot of interests. So for me, it was easier to speak to her than anybody else because I saw myself in her, and she's obviously already in the industry. So I kind of latched onto that, and we get on like a house on fire. I still see her. We meet up and go down the Thames on her dinghy with her dog. But yeah, there's some amazing people in this industry. And another thing that I realised when I found it so hard that I was inspired to do stuff, and I struggled to get into the industry, was other people were struggling too. So I set up a Discord chat where other trainees can join in and talk to clapper loaders and have open conversations about tech questions or about tax and, you know, self-assessment, all that kind of stuff. And it was really important that there was no kind of point where people got stopped from being able to work because I'd been told you can't do it. And for me, it's community over competition. I don't want other people to have to work as hard as I did to get into the industry, to get their foot in the door, because I spent 5 years as a dailies runner in the Midlands before being able to push into the camera department. And, you know, this Discord channel welcomes people of colour or, you know, from the LGBTQ plus community, that are often people that struggle, as well as women, to get into the industry, specifically within the role of camera. And for me, that's been a really important part of my own development, is bringing other people with me. I don't want anybody to have to struggle. It's a hard industry to get into, but I really just want everyone to come along for the ride, because if you want to work in this industry, then do it. It's great. Like, it's hard, but it's great. I love it, and I want everyone to be able to come too. I think for me, choosing between film and TV is quite a hard one. I love my job so much that if you asked me to pick one, I probably couldn't say which. My role within TV and high-end TV and film are very different. As a camera trainee in high-end TV and film, I'm expected to do very different things. So I'm on set and I'll be cabling up monitors and bringing batteries to the camera department and doing tea and coffee runs and generally just looking after my team, asking questions, which is great fun. I love learning. But in TV world, you know, I could be cable bashing or I could be camera assisting, and they're quite a lot more hands-on compared to what I'm allowed to touch in high-end TV world. We sometimes use a lot more expensive cameras or a lot more equipment. There's more time, but also time is still limited. In kind of entertainment TV or reality TV, there's a lot of still really expensive equipment, but so much less time, so everything's very fast-paced, everything has to be done. You know, if you're on a live show, you don't have chance to mess it up, so you just got to get it right first time. And I recently found out that I'm neurodivergent. I've got autism and ADHD, and for me, having to work in one set way, although it's kind of looked on better within the industry to work in high-end TV and film or in TV, for me it's all interesting, it's all learning. So at my current position, there's no reason for me to go, oh, I want to do that and not this. I think it's important to actually embrace as much as you can, because I may at some point decide, you know, I'd love to work on, you know, Britain's Got Talent the whole time and nothing else, but actually having the ability to work on high-end stuff, like I did a couple of dailies on Bridgerton and things like that, really solidified to me that there's so much more to learn, that what's the point in going, oh no, I can't work in TV because I'm not doing camera trainee work. Like, I'm still learning, I still go on set and I still come away having learned something new every single day. And having done 5 years as a dailies runner and then trying to push into the camera department, I've witnessed roles within production or like sound department or anything else like that, and I realised that everyone's role is important, and it doesn't matter what's going on. There's and what you see and what you think is an easy role, it's not. Like, if you ask me to make my hair look nice, no chance. I don't know how the hell they do it, but you know, a lot of people just see it as, oh, they've got, you know, hair brushes and it's easy, and a lot of people say that our role within camera is just clicking buttons, but if you've ever tried to rig a camera with all kinds of crazy stuff, like on Rialto mode, you would just be like, how the hell did somebody do that? And it's, to me, it's just all so important learning about it that I don't want to choose at the moment. I think down the line I'll probably be kind of forced to choose, but generally I just love it all so much that I can't pick one. I think the advice I would give to any women who are trying to work in this industry, particularly in the camera department, is just don't let anybody tell you you can't, because women are quite often seen as, you know, weaker and, you know, less able because they are emotionally unstable or, you know, whatever. But in actual fact, we're just the same as men. You know, I've seen people bench more weight than most men that I know. I've been told by a guy, oh, that thing in the car is really, really heavy, and it was like a gimbal in a plastic box. And I thought, that can't be heavy. Like, I used to pick up bass bins when my dad was DJing when I was little. I used to carry those out the van with him. And I wandered over to it, and I just went, oh, just let me have a try. And then I picked it up and walked off with it. If I let it get to me enough that it made me want to stop working in this industry, I think I'd really regret it, like, down the line, because people will say that to you. People will say that you can't make it as a woman in the camera department. People will say that you're too weak. But it doesn't matter. None of it really matters. Like, if you want to work in a creative industry and you're creative, or even if you're not creative, just do it. Just give it a shot, because what does it matter in the end? I'd much rather have spent 10 years grafting in an industry where I absolutely loved it than working in an office and thinking, oh, I hate this. Why didn't I just try? You know? And I think as a woman, like, we may need to think about it a little harder. We may need to push a little bit harder. But you know what's really cool? When you're on set and you turn around and there's a little girl who, like, you know, it's somebody's daughter or whatever, and they come in and they go, I could do that. And I was that person once. I was probably a teenager when it happened, but I was like, wow, I could do that. I'd never been introduced to that kind of thing. You know, if you'd have asked me in primary school what I wanted to be when I was older, I think one of the things I wanted to be was a midwife. At one point, it's questionable, I wanted to be a monster truck driver. I probably didn't see any women doing that, but I thought I could do that. At one point, I also wanted to be a penguin. Not a good career choice. I don't think that that's possible. But, you know, I've probably given it a shot. If you ask me what I got for my birthday 2 days ago, I got a shark outfit. So, you know, but yeah, I think just keep at it. Just keep trying, because people will tell you no. And if you let them get to you, then you'll probably stop, but you'll regret it. Just keep trying and you'll get there eventually.